Hey guys, it's Squall, and this is part 12 of Everlasting Summer. How does she manage that? But first I took a sharp stone from the ground and scratched a cross on one of the beams which supported the walls. Now we will know where we started. Go right. It seems that there is another fork in the road. Whoa! Finally, the tunnel had led us into a hall with a high ceiling. Although it hardly could be called a hall, it seemed like something was mined here. Maybe coal or gold. The walls had been cut by pickaxes or pneumatic drills. This place was pitch black, so our only salvation was the flashlight. If it breaks, it's unlikely we'll ever get out of here. I noticed a red piece of cloth in its light. It was a pioneer neckerchief. Shurik was obviously here somewhere. Shurik! Only echoes answered us. He must not be too far away, since we found a scarf here. Frankly speaking, I was mostly wondering where here actually was. Where could he have gone from here? There were no other exits from this room. Certainly it was possible that there were other places in these tunnels we hadn't visited yet. That means we have to keep searching for him. It seems that there is another fork in the road. We returned to the place where we had begun. So we took a wrong turn somewhere. Let's keep on searching. It seems that there is another fork in the road. We came to some kind of miners' camp. Picks and helmets everywhere. A rusty wagon stood in the corner. All the items were so old, they dated from the beginning of the 20th century rather than the middle. Yeah, I ain't even gonna pretend to know what that means. Cool. But I sensed that exit was somewhere nearby, and so we went further. It seems that there is another fork in the road. It seems that there is another fork in the road. It seems that there is another fork in the road. It seems that there is another fork in the road. Around the next turn, a wooden door appeared in the light. At least it's something. What? At least it's not another fork. What's in there? We don't have any choice but to check it out. I strongly pulled the handle and opened the door. There was a room behind it, which might be one of the maintenance rooms for the bomb shelter. Empty bottles and cigarette butts were scattered everywhere. The walls were all covered with scribbles. So that means there is another exit from here. I didn't want to believe that the people who had left all that had come the same way as we did. Sadly, Shurik wasn't here. Oh, I slid down the wall to the floor. We must have been everywhere now. Not everywhere. Lena pointed to a door in the corner. It looks similar to the one leading into the bomb shelter. There probably should be an exit, as you said. Shall we go? Let's rest for a moment. Okay? Lena sat next to me, very close, and took my hand. It's alright. What do you mean? That we haven't found Shurik? We should think about getting out ourselves. We'll get out. Yes, I probably remember the way. Or at least I thought that I remembered it. I'm not afraid at all, she suddenly said after a short pause. That's good, because I am with you. Suddenly, there came a noise from behind the door to the mine. I jumped up at once and started looking for something I could use as a weapon. The noise of heavy footsteps was getting closer. Finally, the door opened and Shurik appeared from behind it. In the silence I froze, staring at him. There you are. Did you think you could hide from me? What? Did you think I wouldn't find you? But I did. He was insane, that was for sure. His face was distorted by a scary grimace. His eyes gleamed behind his glasses. The missing pioneer held a metal rod in his hand. Are you mad? It's us. Yeah, I can see it's you. He took a couple of steps toward us. I instinctively shielded Lena. Did you think you could make a fool of me? Leading me here and there, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and I followed. Whoa. He raised the metal rod. Everything after that was like it happened in slow motion. Shurik charging at us. Me pushing Lena out of the way. The rod slowly arching towards my head. My hand was with the flashlight going up. Following all of that, complete darkness, rapid breathing, blood hammering in my temples, silence, dreadful, heavy silence merging with the darkness. I moved my hand, trying to find the wall, when I felt someone's touch. Don't be afraid. I heard a familiar voice near me. Where are you, you damn lunatic? I shouted. He left. Which way did he go? Where to? Lena's voice didn't sound too calm, but certainly it didn't sound like it should in such circumstances. Calm down. She hugged me tenderly and pressed her body against mine. I tried to gather my senses, to recover my breath, to adapt to the darkness. What should we do next? You have a gun. Well, who do I shoot? It's loaded with a flare. She might be right. I took the gun from my belt, pointed it to the side, and fired. If you guys can hear that, I apologize. The room was illuminated by a bright red light. The flare, lying in the corner, looked like a firework or a sparkler. Let's go quickly. It won't burn for too long. Where to? Lena pointed to the second door. It wasn't hard to open it, and we headed into the darkness. The flare burned more dimly with every second. I stumbled with every step, even fell down a couple of times, but didn't slow my pace. If it goes out. Finally, we saw a light in front of us and came to a ladder, leading to a grating in the ceiling. The flare hissed and went out. Thank God. It turned out that we were right under the statue of Genda. The grating was rather sturdy, but we managed to open it after breaking the bolts with the flashlight. After reaching the surface, I collapsed on the grass, exhausted. That was terrible. Lena sat next to me. Just dreadful. By that time, I didn't give a damn about this world, the camp, the 410 bus, or my previous life. The strangest and nastiest thing was that there was nothing supernatural in these events. Shirk just went crazy, insane. Nothing strange about it. I would have too in his position. Lena patted my head tenderly and smiled. It's all over now. I don't know. There's a crazy pioneer in the woods. You could even say a maniac killer. I think he's gonna be alright. Alright? I'm not sure about that. The most important thing is that we're okay. She still smiled. How can you be so calm? I told you before that I have nothing to be afraid of when I'm with you. Indeed. I might have saved Lena and myself back there. But it was only by chance. Nothing more. If Shirk had been swifter. Or crazier. Thanks for the compliment. You're welcome. Though we still should have stayed in the first place. You're probably right, she said calmly. I got really sleepy. Because of the stress, of exhaustion, of how late at night it was. We should go to sleep. But I'd have to stand up and walk to the leader's cabin. I wasn't ready for that. My eyes closed, just for a moment. Stars looked down at me from the sky. Thousands of them. Even millions. Now their light didn't seem to be so distant and cold. On the contrary, they twinkled to me, as if whispering among themselves, telling merry fairy tales in eager competition. About a galaxy far, far away, and violet fluffy piglets. About mysterious asteroid belts where ships have disappeared. About a fearless starship captain and his brave crew. About exceptional treasures and unreachable peaks of a planet on the edge of the universe. I wonder, is that a dream? I lifted myself a little and realized that my head was in Lena's lap. Did I sleep long? I asked in confusion, but didn't rush to get up. I don't know. I don't have a watch. She laughed. Approximately? Well, maybe 20 minutes. Well, that's okay then. I lay down again, feeling nice and calm like never before. The events of the night were becoming distant, as if I was starting to forget them, like the story the stars were telling me. Shirk has come back. What? I jumped on my feet instantly. There he is, sleeping on the bench. Lena pointed to the benches in surprise. And what are you... You were sleeping so peacefully that I didn't want to wake you up. I felt a shiver of fear, because such behavior was not just strange, it was not just inappropriate. It scared me more than Shirk's insanity in the dungeon. A lunatic who half an hour ago tried to kill us arrives, lies on a nearby bench and falls asleep, and she just sits there? Nothing to worry about. He just seemed to be a little off. Lena got confused and blushed. He walked unsteadily and didn't look toward us. And if I'd made a noise... She was about to cry. Okay, don't worry. There was some logic to her words. She probably did the right thing. In any case, we had to interrogate Shirk thoroughly. I jumped up, walked quickly to the bench he was sleeping on and slapped him. Ouch! He woke up at once. What the hell? What are you doing, you bastard? What? Shug stared at me with a scared and moreover sane look. What was that all about down there? What? Where? In the dungeon, in the mine, in the bomb shelter. Did you go completely nuts? I don't understand you. He looked around. Why am I here? And where should you be in your opinion? Oh wait, I know, you should be in an asylum. I went to the old camp in the morning for the spare parts and then... Don't you remember anything after that? Lena asked after walking up to us. Yes, and I... Don't pretend, I said calmly and sat next to him. It really looked like he wasn't lying though. I don't understand anything. It's unscientific. Who cares? Don't think that I trust you. Memory loss can't just occur. Shug talked to himself, mumbled something, not paying any attention to us. Let's go, Lena said quietly. Shall we just leave him here? He's not in his right mind. He has to sleep. It's dangerous to leave this psycho alone. He may strangle electronic with an induction coil in the night. It's going to be alright. Trust me. I had no reason not to trust her. However, I didn't have any reason to trust her either. On the other hand, who cares now? I wanted to fall asleep as quickly as possible. Okay. We left Shirk, who was still mumbling something to himself. We're here. What? Where? I have to go further on. Lena smiled. I hadn't thought about anything all the way here. Just followed her and hadn't noticed that we'd come to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. Yes. Thank you for today. There's nothing to thank me for. It's just good that we came back alive. We'll see what Shirik has to say tomorrow. Thanks anyway, she said mysteriously and averted her eyes. You're welcome. Well, it's time for me to go. Lena quickly turned around and walked quickly in the direction of her cabin. I suddenly had a thought that something about that was a bit off, not quite right. After all that had happened, well, it's time for me to go? It usually goes differently in such situations, doesn't it? I have no idea what I expected though. Exhaustion hit me again. Walking with difficulty, I entered the cabin. The leader was sitting on my bed. Semyon. She started to talk sadly. Where have you been? Well, I... Prepared for a scolding? I didn't expect that reaction. I went to look for Shirik. Alone? No, with Lena. So, what about Shirik? It looks like Olga Dmitrievna was really worried about the fate of the lost pioneer. What's so strange about that? The leader can't treat her work lightly, but it doesn't mean that she's a heartless person. He's okay. As okay as he could be in such a situation. That's good. Go to sleep now. Wait, but... She turned the light out quickly, showing that the conversation is over and I couldn't ask anything. No, should I? Ask why she didn't scold me? Still, Lena, what happened today? My thoughts slowed their pace before stopping completely. We ran with the last of our strength, like those who run for their precious lives, like a doomed person knowing that there is no hope to save his life, will still fight the inevitable and his own fate. I barely managed to close the heavy metal door behind me. I have no idea how deep this bomb shelter is, or if it's able to withstand a nuclear blast, but we have no other place to hide. She gripped my hand tight. Don't be afraid. Bits of the ceiling were falling, and the walls were shaking. I was prepared for the worst. But death is the kind of thing that you can't ever be prepared for. But suddenly, complete silence fell. It rang even louder than the explosions. Maybe it's time to say goodbye. She was whimpering. I wanted to comfort her somehow, but realized that there was nothing I could do. Yes. You know, I... A horrible bang almost split my eardrums. It seems that I'm under a piece of collapsed ceiling, but I don't feel any pain. All I want is to not let her go. I woke up in a cold sweat, short of breath, gasping for air. It took me some time to come to my senses. It was a dream. It was just a dream. My questioning mind, however, refused to believe it. But it was that girl with me there. I didn't want to let go of her hand so desperately. Sadly, I couldn't recall her at all. The clock was showing few minutes past 10. I slowly came to my senses as reality started to stake out its claim on my mind, and my stomach foully growled. Alright, war is war, but lunch should be served in due time. It turned out that Olga Dmitrievna wasn't here, and she must have decided not to wake me up. Well, thanks go out to our camp leader for this. After yesterday's adventures, I had to have a rest. Last night remained a blurry memory which I really didn't want to think about. It's now more important to find something to eat and to wash myself. Exactly. Because a pioneer must always be clean and tidy. Though I would agree with this principle even if I wasn't a pioneer. And as a matter of fact, I'm not. On my way to the washstands, I met Electronic. He started to wave his hands and ran up to me. Good morning. Thank you for finding Shurik. Without him, I don't even... It's nothing. I was a bit embarrassed. No, really. Don't be so shy. The country must be proud of its heroes. And what about Shurik? How did he look this morning? Is he alright? After yesterday's craziness, I thought such a question was completely valid. Yes, absolutely. The only thing is that he can't remember anything. Can't he? I wasn't surprised at all. He says that he went to the abandoned camp yesterday and then woke up in his bed in the morning. I mean, he remembers nothing between those two events. I see. Alright then. You missed breakfast, right? Come to our club. We'll feed you. I have something special. Electronic smiled in a conspirational way. Thanks, I'll come, probably. I had to wash myself first anyway. We'll be waiting. He waved at me and left out to carry out his own business.